The CEA team at Griffin works with our supplier partners and our in-house GGS Pro technical team to bring on-point solutions to everyday problems for our grower customers. Today, we're going to be addressing how growers monitor and adjust the pH of their irrigation solutions. With us, we have Griffin sales representative Zach Pernack, who works in the Great Lakes area. We have Erica Hernandez, our CEA GGS Pro technical specialist. And we have Jose Rodriguez from the Dilution Solutions Company. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
All right, thank you, Tammy. Zach, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I run into a lot of growers that are asking to pH correct their irrigation solution. Working in the Great Lakes area, I know all about the need to mitigate high alkalinity in irrigation water. We generally do that with acid injection at the same time we add fertilizer to the stock tank, but seldom do flower growers adjust the pH in the final solution. How and why do CEA growers, especially cannabis growers, do this?
That's a great observation, Zach. There is a lot of difference between like the floriculture sector and the cannabis and CEA sector these days. And one of them is how they need to adjust pH and alkalinity of their irrigation water. For example, with cannabis growers, if they're in containers, they tend to be in those containers for a long time, and they might be in a peat-based media. For peat-based media, alkalinity is definitely going to be the key factor for pH adjustment. Over time, alkalinity can build up in that peat media and influence the pH of the root zone. Now, with hydroponic solutions and media like rock wool or core, the pH of the water itself is what we need to adjust. These adjustments are influenced by alkalinity, but they're also influenced by fertilizer salts and acid or base additions. Jose, what kind of equipment do you see growers use to influence these factors of pH or alkalinity?
Yeah, good point. We actually, other than considering the different nutrient schedule, which itself has an influence, we also definitely see them using our equipment such as our Itatron microdoser pumps and our regular dosatrons, depending if they are going directly from concentrate or if they are going from a pre-diluted solution.
All right, that was great info, but one of my customers, he's having a problem in his cannabis crop with chlorosis. I'll be sending you guys a photo if you can take a look at that.
Okay, so Zach, I've got the picture, and it looks like the chlorosis is happening mostly in the new growth. So that's a good clue right there, but we need to ask a few more questions. Are these plants in containers?
No, they're in Grodan rock wool.
All right, great, that's another good clue. So this is gonna be more of a hydroponically based solution situation. Have they checked the pH and EC of their irrigation water?
Well, they checked their leachate, and since this is hydroponic type media, I think that's a good way to do it.
All right, yeah, great. That's pretty good. That's good information there. All right, so since we're looking at the pH of the irrigation water, what's their pH that they're recording?
6.9.
6.9. All right, that's a little bit high for cannabis. Usually you want to see it between about 5.8 to 6.2. So with that high of a pH, and the chlorosis being on the new growth, this might be an iron deficiency. But, just to be thorough, are they feeding with a complete fertilizer or are they adding an iron supplement?
Nope, they are a complete fertilizer. Yes.
Okay. All right, great. So there is iron in their feed already. And just one final question, do they know their alkalinity of their water?
Yes, it's roughly about 150.
All right, so that's a little high too, and it's going to affect how we treat their pH situation. So typically when we're adjusting pH and we're adjusting alkalinity, we recommend that growers apply sulfuric acid. Jose, can you tell us a little bit about maybe a couple of specific systems that they can use to integrate sulfuric acid into their growing situation?
Absolutely. It really depends on what is their source of sulfuric acid, right? Sulfuric acid, as I think we all know, it can be offered in different concentrations, from almost very pure 93% to lower concentrations about 35 is not uncommon. If they're using those type of relatively high concentrations of sulfuric acid, we recommend normally the use of a microdoser, where the total amount per gallon that is added is below 1 ml per gallon. You probably can do the conversion to go into ounces per 100 gallons. But in those cases, you can go directly from the concentrate into the water. The way they work is they read the water flow through a flow meter, and that flow meter sends a pulse to the Anitatron electric pump, which work with a membrane and can inject very tiny amounts, a number of strokes that can be fixed by you or determined by you, program it. So if your pH, if you're not satisfied with the final result, you can change the number of strokes that the pump is doing per gallon. The other option will be if you want to pre-dilute your acid and repurpose a dosatron injector that you might already have. In that case, we need to be conscious that the minimum doses that we can do on our regular dosatron injectors are about 1.25 mL per gallon. Therefore, we need to do a good calculation and see what the pre-dilution should be in order to get the target pH. In other situations, depending, and I don't know, Zach, how is this, but if they have a pretty large flow, we can use our mega flow units, which actually are more like a regular dosatron, non-electric, but they can reach very tiny amounts in the 0.1 ml per gallon range. So those are three options depending on the particular grower conditions.
All right, thanks Eric and Jose for the fantastic information and for bringing your knowledge together and discuss this common need in a lot of growers. It's a great example for both the strength of GGS Pro technical team and how we work closely with our suppliers to solve real-world problems with efficient professional solutions. If any of our customers want to learn about how to put the Dilution Solutions Editron products to use, contact your Griffin sales rep and or customer service rep for CEA team at 1-800-888-0054, extension 89199.